Peace, Black family. So currently there is some civil unrest taking place in certain countries in West Africa. And shout out to the countries that are back in Niger, Mali, Guinea, and Burkina Faso. But sadly, the Western media is already painting this situation as black on black violence or unruly blacks. But what if I told you that black on black violence, mass migration, and civil unrest did not exist on the African continent prior to Arab and European invasion? I know this seems hard to believe because we're so inundated with the idea that black on black violence is just innate to us. Historically speaking, black on black violence is a European and Arab creation. Again, let me repeat that. Africans were not killing each other wholesale until Arabs and Europeans came to Africa. And Europeans know this history very well, but they continue to exploit and push the idea that black on black violence is just who we are.
One fascinating fact to emerge is that these people lived together peacefully for centuries.
Now that looks very much like a skull.
That is a skull, and what we can tell from it is that it's probably not going to be an Islamic burial because its head is facing south. We don't really find any evidence for warfare in West Africa during the pre-Islamic period.
Now, of course, as African people, we had differences, but when the European came, they exploited these differences and turned it to a level of violence. Listen to this excerpt from the book, The Destruction of Black Civilization, and listen to how Africans handled tribal beasts before Europeans and Arabs arrived to Africa.
The highly humane aspect of African warfare that puzzled many Western visitors doubtlessly developed the widespread recognition of lineage or kinship ties. For in the much heralded tribal wars, the main objective was to overcome or frighten away the adversary, not to kill at all if it could be avoided. Hence the hideous mask and blood-curdling screams as they charged. Even when the enemy was defeated or completely surrounded, escape routes were provided, the victors pretending not to be aware of them. Indeed, there are reports of rest periods, called when neither side seemed to be winning. At such times, the warriors on both sides might meet at the nearest stream to refresh themselves, kid each other, and laugh at each other's jokes until the drums, gongs, or trumpets sounded for the resumption of the battle. This was traditional Africa. How did it change to warfare, to kill each other, lineage or no lineage?
Side note, one of the most underestimated things that Europeans used to create further division on the African continent was religion. The Europeans used Christianity and the Arabs used Islam. And that created a lot of infighting. You no longer seen your brother as a distant relative from a different tribe, but as an infidel, as someone who didn't practice Islam, and as someone who didn't practice Christianity, and so they was a heathen. The introduction of Christianity and Islam stripped us of our cultural identity. And so a lot of Africans felt detached from other Africans. And once you create that level of detachment, then it's easy to practice black on black violence. In conclusion, anytime you see Africans going at each other's throat, just know that Europeans are at the helm of this fighting, whether it be Crips, Bloods, Zulu, Xhosa, whether it be Hutu and Tutsis. Just know that Europeans or Arabs are at the beginning of us having this war. And if you're following along, the global system of racism and white supremacy, that falls under war.